Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Watchtower Examination. This is actually the first of two short videos that I am titling Boomerang 1, Boomerang 2. I present what is good news, certainly for me, good news for XJWs and the XJW community, but bad news for the governing body. It is 2021, and after all, I think I may realize a good reason why Anthony Morris was not all excited about 2021 being a new year of new possibilities that the typical person speaks about, because 2021 comes with the assurance that the Watchtower organization will lose its status as a charity in Australia. To give a little bit of background for those who may not know, the Australian government has become very concerned about instances of child sexual abuse in institutions in Africa, lots of institutions, including religious institutions. The Catholic Church, my church, the Watchtower, the Red Cross, many institutions. And so they put together a commission to look into these instances to see what is it that the organizations have done wrong, or they have failed, and what remedies can be recommended to really stem this very serious problem. A member of the governing body, Jeffrey Jackson, testified at the commission, including other officials. Anyhow, the commission was to put out its report and to make a number of recommendations to the affected institutions. And they made a recommendation that instead of facing litigation in court, they put together a scheme. Many people don't like the word scheme, but a redress scheme where these organizations and institutions would contribute to compensate the victims. A number of organizations have held out that they will not support this scheme. To make a long story short, the Jehovah's Witnesses, the Watchtower organization, decided that we will not join the scheme. They were given a deadline and they refused, a deadline sometime in the summer. They refused to join. The Australian government extended the deadline to December 31, 2020. And there are reports that they have been appealing to the Jehovah's Witnesses to join the redress scheme. The organization, rather than joining the scheme, decide that they will not. No matter how much the politicians appealed to them, they would not join the scheme. And so December 31, has passed. 2021 is here. And so I went online, I tried to find, I was searching for an update to see if they had actually joined the scheme, if they had taken the opportunity that was presented to them to join by December 31. Unfortunately, every article that I found was dated 2020. But I found one article dated January 3, 2021, from the West Australian. Jehovah's Witnesses to lose charity exemption after failing to sign up to redress scheme for abuse survivors. I did not read the article because you have to subscribe and I would have to fork out $30 at least. I don't need the details. That is enough for me. And so the Watchtower has thrown out a boomerang that is coming back to hit them and hit them very hard. I cannot figure out for the life of me why the Watchtower would choose to be penny wise and pound foolish. Because what it would have cost them to contribute to the scheme would be significantly less than what it is now going to cost them, not only financially. The shame, the disgrace, the hypocrisy. This is Anthony Morris.
They're finally going to be gone. All these despicable enemies that have just reproached Jehovah's name, destroyed, never, ever to live again. Now, it's not that we rejoice in someone's death, but when it comes to God's enemies, finally, they're out of the way, especially these despicable apostates who at one point had dedicated their life to God, and then they joined forces with Satan, the devil, the chief apostate of all time.
Why will they not join the scheme? What harm is it going to do them? And there's just, before I close this video, because I'm not going to go on about this, the thing I find really amazing is what I consider the organization's cruelty. Because do you know what their counter proposal is to the commission? We will deal with the victims individually. How does the Watchtower deal with victims? First of all, these victims are ex-Jehovah's Witnesses. They are apostates. And you know how the organization view apostates.
Well, apostates are mentally diseased, and they seek to infect others with their disloyal teachings. Jehovah, the great physician, tells us to avoid contact with them.
So it isn't enough to the organization that these people are traumatized by what happened to them in the organization. They hate, because this is what this is what it really is about. It's hatred. They hate these people so much, these apostates so much, these despicable apostates so much, that before we spend $1 to compensate them, we would rather lose our charity status. A thought came to me earlier today after I did a video where Stephen Lett is declaring that children are not born with a natural desire to love. Allow me to play the clip again because of what he said.
Children are not born with the godly quality of love. In fact, because of imperfection, they're born with the opposite.
The opposite. If children are not born with the natural affection or the natural desire to love, if it is the opposite that they are born with, what Stephen Lett is saying is that children were born with the natural desire to hate. To hate is the natural thing. Is it why they are so married to the shunning policy? Because it is nothing but hatred that will make people comfortably shun. Even if it does not start with hatred, that is what it develops to. Is the organization saying to Jehovah's Witnesses, be your natural selves because this is how you were born? Anyhow, I'm rambling on and straying from the point, and I'm just excited, ladies and gentlemen. The Watchtower organization will lose its charity status in Australia because of the actions that they have taken. That is boomerang number 1. Join me for the next video where we look at boomerang number 2, and it's going to be fun. I promise you. Have a nice day.